was an actual big story in the news this week about immigration, and I want to get to that because I think if Biden loses this election, it's going to be because of two things. He's old, and he can't get past that issue, and people just hate that about him. And immigration. I mean, just on a political level, I don't think they could have handled it worse. Because now what's going on, if you didn't see the news this week, okay, here's what Biden's doing. He's finally, after saying he couldn't do anything, he's going to issue an executive order. By the way, this is the same executive order Trump tried to get through the courts, and they didn't let him do it. But he's going to finally try it 6 months before the election, which says we will put a cap of 2,500 now asylum seekers coming in. If it passes 2,500, if it's 2,501, then we automatically close the border. Fire marshal says, no more. He's going to come here and close the club. And if you don't have a stamp on your hand, you can't get back in. Okay. But when it goes down to 1,500, then we resume standard asylum procedures. It's like surge pricing with Uber. It's a bizarre scheme that, of course, has pleased nobody. It looks like a last minute, it looks like he did nothing. And of course, he did try through Congress, and the Republicans purposely spiked that football. They didn't want this bill because they wanted it as an issue. So they could have fixed it themselves. They didn't. But now it looks like this is his last minute before the election Hail Mary pass, and it's not going to succeed.
That's right, yeah.
It's not even a Hail Mary pass, though. Hail Mary pass, the guy might catch it, right? Doug Flutie did it that one time. He did this knowing that it's going to be declared invalid by the courts.
And it's an admission that he could have done it the whole time, and he didn't. So now you broke it, you bought it, it's on him.
And so it's right there in the Refugee Act, saying that if someone comes to the country, they don't have to apply for asylum at a point of entry. They don't have to. It's in the text of the law. If you don't like that and think that's crazy, and a lot of Americans do, you got to change the law. You can't just make that happen. Meanwhile, it does nothing to allow for a greater processing of the people who are standing in line. Standing in line, also, you have to use the app, the I Would Want to Come Into the Country app, and you have to do it 3 weeks ahead of time, and you can't do it from your home country. That sounds like it's going to be totally a normal process. That's going to be really easy for Venezuelan refugees. This is the biggest refugee crisis in the Western Hemisphere ever. More than like 8 million Venezuelans, for example. That's a ton of people, and we're having 1,500 at border checkpoints that have no ability to process them. It's not going to work.
So since January 2021, when Biden took office, more than 9 million migrants have entered. That's more than the number of people who live in Nicaragua. Wow. He let in all of Nicaragua, equivalent.
Yeah,
and like, the question that Democrats don't seem to be able to have the balls to answer is just, how many is too many? Right. And like, infinity is the answer. If you don't give that answer, you're a racist. That's their essential problem with this issue.